Dear respected teacher, dear beloved community, today is the 10th of March in the year 2022, and we are gathered together in the still water hall of the Upper Hamlet, Plum village, France, as well as in many places all around the world for this retreat. So let us start just by enjoying 3 sounds of the bell as we settle into this moment, into our bodies, into our feelings, into our breath. Just allow your mind to be guided back to the present moment with the sound of the bell. Dear respected Thầy, dear friends, we have come together in this 3 or 4 day online retreat, 3.5 day online retreat, to honor our teacher and our beloved abbot Thầy Phap and Thầy Phap and Tsuko Lang Nim just returned from Vietnam a few days ago, bearing the ashes of our teacher's body. They made that trip specially just to welcome Thay's ashes back to Plum village. And on Sunday we'll have a ceremony to receive his ashes here in this hall, and then to take them to spread them in the beautiful grounds of Upper Hamlet that Thay loved so much, where the daffodils are currently smiling, and I know they will welcome Thay back to the earth. So we've gathered together, maybe more than 500 of us, online and offline, to honor our teacher. And yet, at the same time, we know that there is a war going on, and that people are dying. People are being buried under piles of rubble. And many thousands of people are dying. Millions are fleeing their homes, trying to find shelter somewhere else. And there's a lot of suffering. And so I've been asking myself the last few days, how can we continue with this retreat when we know the suffering that is going on? And part of me was feeling Thay would know what to do. Thay would know how to respond to this moment, to this terrible and challenging moment. And I think when Thay passed away a month and a half ago, many of us felt a kind of a need to step up, a sense of responsibility. Because now who will play that role? Who will be able to guide the Sangha in these challenging moments? Who will be able to respond to the suffering of the world as Thay would do? And it's very difficult to know what to do. Could you ask them in the sound room? So as I reflected on this, I realized that we have an opportunity in this retreat to make sure that Thay is very alive. Because we know he would know what to do. And he does know what to do. So our job is just to make sure he is very alive in us and in the whole community. And I think we know how to do that. I look into my feelings and my perceptions around the passing of our teacher, and I can't really say that he's gone, and I can't really say that he's dead, or that he's not there. If anything, he feels more there, much more. Very present, very alive. So if we want to know what to do, we can ask Thay, but first we have to help him to be very present with us. And then we will know what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say. Because we want to help. Of course, we want to help. But we also know that if we don't have peace, if we are not at peace, then when we try to help, we may make the situation worse. And we want to know that we are really helping in the right way. So Thay said many times, and he wrote the beautiful calligraphy, peace in oneself, peace in the world. And when I first saw that calligraphy, I struggled with it a little bit, if I'm honest. I sort of wasn't convinced. I thought, it's not going to be enough if, I can be at peace, sure, but there's still terrible things happening in the world. It doesn't seem to make much difference. But as I reflected more on that statement, my feeling about it started to change. So first of all, I looked at the inverse statement. So if there's no peace in me, then there's definitely not peace in the world, because I'm in the world. I'm part of the world. So that is true. If there's no peace in us, then how can there be peace in the world? And then I ask myself, how do I know that it's not true, that if there's peace in me, there would be peace in the world? I haven't even really tried. I think I'm a little bit arrogant to think that I know what peace in me would be. Have I really committed myself to peace in my life, in my actions, in my way of consuming, my way of speaking? And do I risk to underestimate peace, real peace? So I think it's worth checking, to ask ourselves, have we really tried yet? So Thầy always liked to say that in Plum Village our intention is not to give you more ideas about peace, because we already have a lot of ideas about peace. We don't need any more. But our intention is to learn to be peace. It's not to talk about it, but to be it. And we have a way to do that. And then we can see for ourselves what is the effect of that peace in the world. Now, of course, we know that the seeds of the current war were sown a long time ago. And so we may not be able to stop the current destruction, the loss of life, the suffering. But we also know that we don't want to continue to sow the seeds of war now for future wars. And we have confidence that if we truly sow the seeds of peace in ourselves, in our own hearts, in our communities, then perhaps we can avoid other wars in the future. Towards the beginning of the war, I saw somebody posted online something like this. It said, "When will we learn to love our neighbors as ourselves?" This is from Jesus' commandments to us. To love thy neighbor as thyself. It's known as the golden rule. Do to others as you would be done by. And it seems simple. It seems that if we could just love others as we love ourselves, then that would already be a much more beautiful society, a much more beautiful world. But I'm not sure that I know even how to love myself, really. So even if I did love my neighbor as I love myself, would I really love them if I can't yet love myself? So it seems to me this is a good place to start. And it's a way to act, to really take care of ourselves, is action, is engagement. It's not turning away. It is a real contribution. So we know that we have a physical body, and we can ask ourselves if we've really been taking good care of our body. Have we allowed tension and stress to accumulate in our body? Have we put pressure on ourselves to be a certain way, to work late into the night? Have we pushed our body too hard? And are we really even paying attention to our body? This is the first practice, just to bring the mind back to the sensations in the body, right now, in this moment. And it's not always easy, because if we have allowed some tension to accumulate, then when we bring our minds back to the body, it isn't necessarily pleasant. There may be some pain, some tension. There may be the traces of past suffering accumulated in our body. The body might not feel totally safe to take refuge in. Might not feel like a refuge. There may be feelings of discomfort. So if we bring our mind back to our body, and if we find some painful feelings, some uncomfortable feelings, then we need to know how to take care of those feelings, to embrace those feelings with all of our love and tenderness, and to give our body a chance to relax, to release some of that accumulated tension, and to heal. Our body knows very well how to heal if we give it the chance. So we can do this multiple times a day. In any position we happen to find ourselves, we can do a body scan, whether we're sitting, standing, lying down, even while we're walking. We can just scan the different parts of our body and give them permission to relax any tension that might have accumulated. We have to be careful not to make more pressure. You have to relax. Why are you so tense? We have a kind of conditioning to tend to want to do everything perfectly, to be good at relaxing, to do it well. And we may unconsciously put more pressure on ourselves and create more tension. So it's very nice just to give ourselves permission, to give our body permission to release just as much as it would like to release, without any expectation. So I like to do this many times a day. I might start with my jaw, and just check in and say, hello, hello, my jaw. Have I allowed some tension to build up here? Is my jaw locked? If you want to, you can just release as much as you would like to release. Feels better already. I can check in with my tongue, the palate of my mouth, the gums, even the teeth, the whole mouth and the lips. Just check. See how it feels right now. And just let my mouth and my jaw know it's okay to let go of whatever you'd like to let go of. I can check my nose, the sinuses, the nostrils, the eyes, all the little muscles around the eyes. We make our eyes work so hard, reading and looking at screens. So it's very nice just to give them a chance to become soft. Give them permission to rest. This is a kind of love already that we can offer ourselves. Kindness, compassion. It's okay, my two eyes. You can rest now. My forehead may have accumulated a lot of intensity or thinking energy. I can just let my forehead know, now it's okay just to be soft. I can check in with my ears, my scalp, my hands, thumbs and fingers. Is there any feeling of tension in my fingers? Just say hello to my two hands. Hello. You can let go now. Nothing to hold on to. Nothing to grasp. You can rest. I can say hello to my arms, my shoulders. Maybe there's a little tension in the shoulders, or even a little pain. And say, hello, my two shoulders. Thank you for holding everything you've been holding. And now you can release whatever you'd like to release. Don't worry. My arms won't fall off. You can give back however much of my arms that you've been holding up. Just let them hang. Maybe your arms feel a little heavier, a little more loose. Maybe the breath comes a little easier. You can be aware of the movement of the chest, aware of any tightness that may be there. Just give it permission to soften. You can feel the belly rising with the in-breath, falling with the out-breath. Hello, my abdomen. Is there anything you've been holding on to? If you want to, you can just release it now. You can feel our two legs, our feet. Just give them permission to rest. You're not going anywhere, not doing anything. It's so nice. Just to rest. To allow ourselves to sink a little deeper into our contact with the ground, the cushion or the chair. Feel ourselves resting on Mother Earth and to entrust ourselves to Mother Earth. And maybe our body feels a little sense of relief. And we can smile and feel the smile embracing our whole body. It's very nice to be just aware of the sensations in the body. And we know our mind is in the present moment because those sensations are only in the present moment. It's a wonderful way to take care of our body. And then in the body we may notice some feelings. There may be a feeling of pressure, of anxiety, or tension, some kind of unease or discomfort. We can say hello to those feelings as well. And know that we are more than those feelings. That we are vast. That there is a quality of love and stability in us that is capable of embracing whatever is there with tenderness. And those feelings, they like to be held. We don't need to do much. Just to allow any feelings of discomfort or unease in us to take a bath of mindfulness. To be bathed in the energy of mindfulness. And that means just listening to those feelings, being there for them, taking the time to be fully present for whatever is there. It's very nice to do that. And we may find we have some emotions as well. Maybe there's some anger in our heart, or despair, or anxiety, or fear. And those feelings might have been pushing us to act, to consume, to speak. And somehow, when we're pushed by those feelings, we lose a little of our freedom. We lose our sovereignty. We're not ourselves. So it's very nice also to create the time, to take the time to say hello to those feelings, which which may have been there a long time. To offer them our love, our presence. Our presence is very powerful when we're not distracted by the telephone. So we learn in this retreat how to handle our emotions. And if we are to handle them, first we have to recognize them, that they are there. And be humble and honest. And taken together, this the tension in our body, the tension in our feelings, in our emotions, they form a kind of background inclination of our mind that may have a tendency to push us. And this inclination of mind might have been transmitted to us over many generations. We may recognize our ancestors in it. Maybe there's it's like a subtle filter over everything. It influences our perceptions of everything. Maybe it's a kind of subtle cynicism that things will not work out. Things won't turn out well. I just know it. Maybe there's just a feeling that it won't go well for me. No matter what I do, I'm going to suffer. Maybe it's a tendency to feel like ultimately we will let people down. No matter what, in the end, I will let you down. Or maybe it's a feeling unconscious that in the end we'll be betrayed. That love isn't really something that we can rely on, something that we can trust. These may be kind of attitudes that have been transmitted over many generations and conditioned by real suffering, by real betrayal, by real disappointment, by real pain. But now maybe we just have the attitude, and it's worth having a deep conversation with our ancestors to see if we can update that attitude. Invite them to look again, check. I like to talk to my grandfather. My grandfather was very sure that ultimately things wouldn't go well. There would just be pain. And he caused people to suffer in our family. He caused himself to suffer. And so he had lots of evidence. So I like to check in with him and say, hello, look, in this moment, we're not harming anyone. In this moment, we're not harming ourselves. In this moment, we're taking good care of ourselves. In this moment, we're doing exactly the thing that we always wanted to do. In this moment, we're realizing our deepest aspiration to love, to cultivate awareness, to wake up. And it's like a magic formula. It's an instant source of happiness. To recognize that in this very moment we're doing exactly what we wanted to do all along. Because we need to know how to generate a feeling of happiness. Generating a feeling of happiness is a powerful way to act in the world. It's a way to help take care of our pain, of our painful feelings. A feeling of happiness will already help to embrace our painful feelings. And it's wonderful when we are already practicing, just to notice, oh, I'm practicing. Wow. That's a source of happiness. So mindfulness is a source of happiness. Taking care of our suffering is a source of happiness. And we need to let our ancestors know and invite them to participate. And gradually the inclination of our mind starts to change. Maybe we have a chance to see things anew. And maybe our perceptions change. Because our perceptions are the ground of our action. And if we have a lot of wrong perceptions about each other and about ourselves, then it will be very hard to act with wisdom. So, when we're able to take care of our body, to relax our body, to allow our body to relax, to take care of our feelings, to take care of our emotions, the fundamental attitude of our mind, then we can start to be peace. And then we can really help. So we want Thay to be very alive in us and in our community in these 4 days. So I suggest that we live for these next few days like Thay. So Thay had a lot of confidence in his students. And Thay would always say, Thay is in you. When often people would come and ask Thay a question like about starting an initiative somewhere, I want to start a program for mindfulness in hospitals or something. And Thay would just say, Thay is in you. Go ahead, do it. He had a lot of confidence in us. And he gave himself to us, his whole self, and held nothing back. And I think when we practice, we can feel that it's true, that Thay is in us when we practice. So, if we want to live like Thay for these few days, to make sure that Thay is really alive in the community, in us, and I think it's very easy. We just have to do the things that Thay likes to do. And not do the things that would hurt Thay in us. And I think we know what they are. I think we can tell the difference. That Thay is very sensitive. And some things that we might have a tendency to do that he would not do. So we can ask ourselves and let him guide us. So it's very easy. In the morning, when we wake up, we can smile. It's a real practice. Waking up this morning, I smile. It's not always easy. And then to remember that 24 brand new hours are before me. And to make the vow to live each moment in mindfulness like Thay. It's not easy to really do it. And to look at all beings with the eyes of compassion, like Thay. Even Vladimir Putin. Even the Russian soldiers that are bombing civilians. Thay didn't have enemies. He didn't hate. And that doesn't mean that we condone the actions. But if we don't want to contribute to future wars, then we cannot hate. And we have to be very careful in our way of consuming the media. Right now there's a lot in the media of videos being shared of Russian tanks being destroyed by missiles. And they're shared like it's something to celebrate. A victory. Like it's in a video game. And you see what people are commenting, what they post on social media. It's very hard to know how to handle that. Because of course we know that sometimes the use of force is necessary. Thay once said that sometimes non-violence is violence. If we could avoid the loss of life, if we could protect civilians by the use of force, then sometimes we should. And that is true non-violence. But it's very hard. And to do that, we have to have compassion in our hearts. And we have to know that there are young Russian men in those tanks who have been misled and been fed with a lot of propaganda, and they're dying too. So whatever we look at, let us be careful how we consume it, and to always keep compassion alive in our hearts. To look at all beings with the eyes of compassion, even though they hold a gun. And when we make tea, maybe while the water is boiling, a hand starts to twitch and there's an impulse to turn on the phone, check the news. Would Thay do that? I don't think so. So we can notice the impulse, the habit that we've trained, see it coming up, and we don't have to act. We can say, no, thank you. I'm making my tea. I'm going to enjoy my tea, like Thay. And it's very interesting when you resist an impulse that you've trained, like checking your email or looking at the news. Because there may initially be a feeling of discomfort, that it's unsatisfying. You want to check, and now you're not allowing yourself to check. It's kind of uncomfortable, a little. So it's very interesting to notice that feeling in the body, to allow it to be there, to embrace it, to smile to it, to allow it to soften. And actually, we can also cultivate a feeling of profound joy just by realizing that in that moment, I was not pushed. I was able to say no thank you to this push. And that is a feeling of triumph. That is a feeling of joy. A success in the practice. To be able to stop and take care of whatever feeling of discomfort was pushing us to act. And then you can make your tea in freedom. And that is happiness. When is the last time you really savored a sip of tea in total freedom? When is the last time you allowed a drop of tea to roll on your tongue and you could feel the cloud in your tea? And enjoy the magic, the mystery, the wonder of tea, water, the fragrance, the coming together of all the causes and conditions. It's magical. And Thay has taught us very well how to enjoy a cup of tea. We know exactly how to do it, and yet maybe we don't always do it. So in these 4 days, let's see if we can. We can become absorbed in the tea. And then we go to join the sitting meditation. And we know that Thay loved to breathe. Thay knew exactly how to enjoy his breathing. So we can sit there and say, let Thay breathe. I don't need to breathe. And it's true. Thay is breathing. I just enjoy the breathing. Thay knows how to breathe very well. Thay is the breathing. I am the breathing. There is only breathing. There is no breather. Peace while breathing. Peace is the breathing. This is something possible. You can allow Thay to breathe for us, and He can continue to teach us how to enter concentration, stillness, how to be peace. And then when we go to make our breakfast, we can make our breakfast like Thay. Thay loved to make his breakfast, and he wasn't in a hurry. He didn't have to multitask. He didn't have to listen to a podcast whilst making breakfast. He didn't have to check his email whilst making breakfast. So let's try and do it like Thay. Let's just do one thing at a time. With ease, with freedom, with joy. And when we eat our breakfast, before putting the food in your mouth, you can look at it, recognize it. Oh, this is porridge. Oh, this is a piece of apple. And we can touch gratitude. We have food to eat. Not everybody does. It's already a wonder to have something in our bowl. And when we take a spoonful of porridge or cereal, then we can put our spoon down and chew. And wait until we have swallowed before picking up our spoon. It's a real practice. We invite Thay to have breakfast with us. It's a great honor to eat breakfast with Thay, and we can all do it. It's wonderful. There's plenty of Thay to go around. There's no shortage. And we can listen to the Dharma Talk with Thay's ears, and I know that Thay will be so happy to listen to Thầy Phap Hu tomorrow and Sister Chanduk on Saturday. Thay will be so proud to hear his students sharing the Dharma. And so we can listen with Thay's ears, with Thay's heart, with Thay's breath, with Thay's concentration and stillness. And then we can walk. Hopefully each of us has somewhere we can go to practice walking meditation, whether it's in our yard or maybe just along the street or in a park or even just in our home. And Thầy taught us so well how to walk in freedom, how to arrive with every step. Not to hurry towards our destination, but to know that our true destination is this moment, this step. And we can do that wherever we have to walk in our house, even from the bathroom to the living room, or as we walk around the kitchen. We can take steps in freedom. There's something possible. And I know if we all do this together, it generates a powerful collective energy and we support each other. It's much easier to do it together than alone. And we may have the impulse to check the news many times, coming up in the spaces in between activities. It's like, oh, I have some time before the Dharma sharing. Let me just check the news. And you can, if you want to. But try to read the news like Thay would read the news. And we can ask ourselves, how much is enough? How much do we need to take in? And can we give ourselves a break for these few days? It's up to you. Each of us can make a decision. But you may like to set a timer on your phone to give yourself 10 minutes. If you really need to know, I think 10 minutes is enough just to check in. And then when you turn off the phone, it's very interesting to ask, what did I learn? How do I feel? Did it help? Was it important? What will I now do as a result of knowing this? Is there anything I can do? Was it important? Really? That's very interesting. If you need to check, but then ask yourself afterwards, what did you learn? Was it important? And how do you feel? How do you feel in your body? And how often do you want to do that? You may like to install a bell of mindfulness on your computer or your phone. We have the wonderful Plum Village app. You can set a bell to sound every hour or every half hour, or however often you want. And that is a practice that Thay really enjoyed. Stopping. Coming back to the present moment. We can let the sound of the bell be the voice of Thay calling us back. Hello. Would you like to breathe with me? Would you like to rest, to relax, to take care of yourself in this moment, to greet any stress or tension or discomfort that may have arisen with love and tenderness? It's amazing. In one sound of the bell, you can do a complete body scan if you want. Just check, how does your body feel? Has any tension gathered anywhere? It's very nice. And when you brush your teeth, you can smile. If you like, you can use the gatha. Brushing my teeth and rinsing my mouth, I vow to speak purely, lovingly. When my mouth is purified, is fragrant with loving speech, a flower blooms in the garden of my heart. It's very interesting to check if that's true. I sometimes use that gatha to check in that day, how was my speech? Was it skillful? Did I allow myself to be aggressive or cynical? Did I use humor to put someone down? Did I lie? Did I distort the truth? Just to check. It's very interesting, once a day or twice a day to check. How was my speech? And to notice that when my speech really was mindful and kind, wow, yes, I can feel a flower blooms in my heart. It's very wonderful to notice when we haven't been unkind, when we haven't been unfair, when we haven't taken advantage of anyone, when we've been generous, when we've been loving. It's also kind of letting our ancestors know, yeah, look, we're doing okay. It's good. So we know that Thầy loved life. He loved to do all these things. And so it's very easy if we want to live like Thầy. We just do the things that Thầy loved. You may like to stare at the moon and just become absorbed in the moon. I remember one time I was Thay's attendant just for a few days, and I was carrying Thay's bag during the walking meditation. It was in a big retreat, there were many hundreds of people, but he stopped and he turned to me with this huge grin and he pointed at the trunk of a tree. He said, "It's so green." Because there was moss. It was like beautiful emerald moss. It was so green. And Thầy was just completely absorbed with this moss. And there were hundreds of people there kind of like, what's Thầy doing? Why have we stopped? What's happening? And Thay's just like, look, it's so green. So you can do that too. You can fall in love with the moss. You can say hello to every tiny flower that crosses your way. You can look at the blue sky as if it's the first time. And I think if we can do that, then Thầy will be with us. Thầy will be alive. and we will know what to do, what not to do, what to say, and what not to say.